All right, so you want to introduce yourself?
My name is Solomon.
I'm Keith.
Hello, I'm Courtney Amber McAllister.
My name's Amy.
And you are collectively half of...
The Lobster Quadrille.
And there are 4 more members, is that right?
Is that correct?
Well, 5, I
plus
think.
Five?
Jamie, include Jamie.
Yeah, so we're technically a non-it currently. Yeah.
Are you going to continue to add members?
No, I don't think so.
Hopefully
Not at this point. We've been working with that for a
It's
while.
difficult enough to schedule it at this point.
But do you play
adding
cello?
Anybody else is a bastard.
We would like
If you're in the...
A full-time boner.
Yeah.
Tromboner, I mean. Would be great.
I seem to remember you saying that you wanted a tuba player.
that'd
We
be
did
great.
talk about that. If you play tuba or cello and you're interested in playing this ragtag kooky spooky bullshit. Can we cuss?
Yes, you can.
Okay, good.
Well, that'll make it much
Retract
easier.
your statement.
Because we're definitely in a cussing mood.
I know.
Okay, so would you like to explain yourselves?
Okay, sure.
We have no explanation for ourselves, really.
I don't suppose so. We'll make an effort anyway. But anyway, the works of Flannery O'Connor are very inspirational to us. The Bible, Anton LaVey, you know,
about the
Rasputin, everything. So all of that shit. But anyway, yes, we read a lot of books and
Primus.
we hang
Primus
out.
is a great
And we like
influence.
Primus, yes, that's right. And we do the drinking and we do the drugs and we have a good time. But don't do drugs unless you can handle them, folks.
It's all about
We
moderation.
have other people over there. This is Chris, the trumpet player, and some friends over here.
His lady friend, in particular.
And there's Andy, the sleep guy.
Yeah, let's get a nice shot of Andy.
This is our friend Andy, and our trumpet player Chris is kissing him almost.
Yeah.
And I think somebody's gonna put their balls on his face.
Oh, that's
Oh, give him the old Arabian goggles.
The goggles are coming right up.
So yes, that's the majority of the story, is Flannery O'Connor and the Bible, so the whole Southern Gothic thing, yes?
So how did this all come about? Where did it start?
Well, when I was 18, I lived in New York City, and I was in sort of a monastery then. I was actually very religious, and I was sort of missing the South. I grew up in the Deep South, and I started writing these songs that were sort of bizarrely reminiscent of a South that never existed. And I performed them by myself for years, and then there was a violin player, and then we added various members, and now we are up to this wonderful ensemble.
Nice. Okay, and it just kind of fell together piece by piece?
Yeah, I mean, we've all been
much
friends
so.
for some time, and, you know, everybody had these talents, you know,
It really
these
is the
instruments.
drummer. It's drummer's fault because it was really a 3-piece for some time, and then when the drummer quit, there was a need for percussion, and then at that time there was sort of this frantic, oh, we have to get somebody to take the drummer's place at the last minute because there were already shows booked and whatnot when the drummer quit because he was kind of flighty and whatnot. He's a nice guy, but he was flighty. And anyway,
That's when you and Lauren
yeah, this
and
is
Keith
when
played
Lauren
that
and I
show,
and
right?
Keith played, and for a long time we were a septet.
You
and
were. I was an audience. No, there were 6
we were
people.
6 people.
Because I was number 7. I
That's
was
right.
actually an audience
You were
member
the
for a
septet.
while. Yeah.
And then we were a septet for a long
I was
time.
wooed into the band one drunken night.
Right. And
That's when
then
we became Mad Magazine, the band, sort of. Yeah.
And I think almost all of us who have come into the band have seen the band play before we
Yeah.
joined the band.
You bridged that audience to stage gap.
Except for VZ, but VZ knew me from college, so.
It's very much like Frank Zappa's old band. If you like us, you could be in this band. And you don't have to be as good as you would have had to have been in Frank
but you might
Zappa's
have to
band.
be a physicist.
Right here.
You might have to be a physicist. BC is like a physicist.
He is something of a physicist.
What, Sisyphus? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, a physicist.
Rolling that fucking rock over and over again.
So, where's the name come from?
Well, it's, what is it, Chapter 10, Analysis Adventures in Wonderland? I'm a big Lewis Carroll fan, and when I was first starting to put together this sort of ragtag, vaguely Old South sound, for some reason that name resonated, so that's it.
Now, in listening to your CD, how long ago was the CD done?
2 years?
A couple of years, yeah.
Yeah, we're dreadful in the studio. We take forever. So I mean, it took us a year to do. I mean, we recorded it all in like a week, but we mixed it for like a year.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I've noticed that the CD doesn't have anywhere near the aggressiveness that your live sound does.
it's tough. I mean, we're finding our way around that. I mean, different members of the band have had various experiences with the studio and without it. But anyway, we're hoping that our next one will be a little more of that live sound. So we'll see.
How do people react to you generally live?
generally, I find that we tend to win people over if they're looking to have a good time. I mean, if they're overly serious, it can be problematic. But generally, if people are having a drink and they're having a good time, then they're going to have a good time. And apparently, even tonight, I mean, there were some apparently very old people in the audience who were having a very good time until we said the bad things about Jesus, which we say bad things about Jesus sometimes because it's fun for us, and apparently that turned them off a bit. But anyway, I mean, that's the general dynamic.
That's probably the couple that come to every show we do.
Oh, yeah?
They started coming when we booked Ouroboros, and they just kept coming.
No kidding.
Whether it's death metal, punk, doesn't matter, they show
I saw
up.
them tonight.
See, that's
and
fantastic.
I was very curious because, like, they were very nice, like, they were very polite to me, and I was like, huh.
Can I say
Where did
something
you
to
guys
them?
go?
If you are watching this couple, I hope I haven't said anything. I certainly don't feel anything insulting. And I do apologize if we offended your sensibilities in any way. It's simply a philosophical difference. And we thank you for being here this evening.
Have you had anyone
Fuck
ever...
Jesus.
Have you ever had anyone flip out?
Not your Jesus.
Right, because Jesus is different things to everyone, and we've all had
Absolutely.
different
I
experiences.
think maybe fuck
with
everybody's
Jesus.
Jesus.
And if they had our experience with Jesus, then they would probably fuck him too. Though they might not agree with that. You
Son
know,
of God,
with
that's
that
got to
saying,
be
but-
good shit.
Have you ever had anyone flip out at you about that?
No, oddly enough, it
No.
interests.
Oh, no.
The girl with
The
bug
blonde
jar.
at the bug
Yeah.
jar.
Oh, that's right. Well, just a staff employee at a bar one time. But I've been surprised, actually, that we've never really encountered any negative press. And I'm sure some of this is a function of our obscurity. But, I mean, of the press that we've gotten, everything's been very positive.
Well, we're a big force. Who's gonna step to 9 people and say,
Who's gonna step to the
Jesus,
quad?
you know, like, okay. I don't agree with you.
It seems like that you have the almost a confusing religious stance.
Oh, that's interesting that you say that. I mean, it's really not. I mean, if you listen, I mean, we're very, and I will say this, there are 9 people in this band, so they all have their own individual philosophical, feelings and everything. But as a band, we are humanist, we are atheist, we are anti-religion, religion as a force for institutionalized falsehood and oppression. And that's it. You know what I mean?
Yet
Fuck
at
it.
the same time, you have an almost religious sound.
Oh, well, it's
Your
definitely
music.
there. I mean, I was raised in a fundamentalist religious household, and so was Amber. So, I mean, that musically is a big influence.
And religious music speaks to a certain part of the brain that's, I mean, it's beyond
Definitely.
religion. It's a biological thing.
You mock what's familiar to you. Remember that bit in Silence of the Lambs where they're talking about, who the guy is going to kill? He's like, you go with what's familiar to you. Remember, because you killed the guy, the lady that was right across the street from him? What's familiar to you? He killed the girl that was familiar to him. And you mock what's familiar to you.
It's the easiest thing to mock. You have
Right,
most
you're-
knowledge about how to mock it.
Exactly.
It's really
It
a
looks like
strategy,
idiots.
Like,
A couple of us have read the Bible a few times, so, I mean, we do know the terrain, so, I mean, it's ripe for parody.
Right.
Very nice. So how long have you been together?
As a group, has it been 6 years?
for me, I'm like 4.
Yeah, in current lineup, 3, 4 at least.
He's probably 2.
Somewhere in there.
And when did you actually start it?
I started performing under the name about 10 years ago. And it was just me for a while, and then the violin player, and then, all that earlier stuff.
And where are you based out of?
Rochester, New York.
Is that a good thing?
I like Rochester. I've had a lot of fun there.
You go over well?
Rochester has been very kind to us.
We have a great following.
Yeah, they're great to us.
Rochester is, I'll say this about Rochester. It's a peaceful town. I mean, there's not a lot of crazy shit going on there. But, it's a very open town politically. I mean, I don't know, any cause you have, gay marriage or equality, and across any spectrum, Rochester's a good place to be. And we like Rochester, I'd say.
I think it's a very open-minded town.
Yeah.
There is a lot of horrible actual violence in certain parts of the city that's not
That's
really
bad.
great. Nobody
Yeah,
really
of
wants to
course,
talk about it, but I think as a whole, Rochester is a great, open-minded, it's just a great place for, like, I don't want to say real human beings, but, open human beings who
Opposed to
are
every
all
place
about
else,
being
full
human,
of fake-ass
like,
motherfuckers.
really not feeling the hate, and, I mean, there's a lot of hate and whatnot in the
And
world.
there's a good
in the
bit of
name
like
good.
art and music and shit going on there. For the size
Great
of the
amount
town,
of culture.
like there's a lot more going on there than I think you would say. Like someplace, you know, there's many other towns about the same size. You look at a Syracuse or a Buffalo. Like Syracuse is about the same size, maybe a little bit smaller. Ain't shit going on there. Maybe there is. I don't know. But
Much love to Syracuse, though. Where's our Syracuse motherfuckers at?
And actually, there was a lovely girl that came from Syracuse tonight to see our show. But like for the size of the town, there's a lot more music and art going on than there is in like many other locations. I mean, it's such a small place.
Unfortunately, a lot of the art in Rochester is focused around the colors orange and purple, which drives me fucking crazy. It's really ridiculous.
I kind of like purple.
We do have our personal beefs with Rochester, but generally,
there's these
Rochester's been
ridiculous
good.
plastic chairs
What's the,
all over town
those are
right now.
horrible.
What's the biggest mismatch in like that you've been billed with, like band wise?
Oh.
Biggest
Excuse me?
mismatch?
Mismatch.
Oh wait, I almost hate to say this. Wales Road. They put us.
Oh, it was a deliberate
It was
mismatch.
deliberate, but they put us one time at a club in Rochester with this Christian rock band.
A real Christian rock
It's supposed to be sort of a heaven versus hell sort
I
of
was
thing.
not in the band for that.
No, that was before some members of the band. But I guess that was the biggest mismatch. I mean, what else have we done that was really weird? We were supposed to play a show with Victor Wooten in New York recently, and we bowed out because we had work.
Well, it was a midweek actually.
Yeah, so it was like a Wednesday night in New
It-
York for a benefit with Victor Wooten. That would have been the biggest, probably.
Well, I think the Christian band probably takes the cake.
Maybe.
What's the farthest out you've played from Rochester?
Probably Pittsburgh still.
Is
I mean,
it Toronto?
well,
Toronto's
I mean,
farther.
Toronto's 3 hours.
Toronto-
It's another country, but
Toronto's
it's only
closer.
3 hours. We're
Yeah.
on the fucking border.
But how long
Pittsburgh
ago
is
did you
the
So
play
where
furthest.
do we play?
Toronto was like
New York
not
City,
anytime recently.
Pittsburgh.
Well,
we really
New York
haven't
City is the
expanded
farthest
beyond
drive.
the northeast.
I
New York's
didn't
like
play
the
that,
farthest
but New
drive.
York is the
Yeah.
farthest drive from us. Pittsburgh is closer.
Okay. So
I mean, New
So
York.
New York
your
is the
answer lies somewhere in there.
Have you played Boston before?
No, and you know we've played with bands from Boston, particularly Reverend Glasseye and his Wooden Legs, which is a great fucking band that we met through Dame Darcy.
I think they might be they might be in Austin now though.
Really?
Yeah, I think
Well, they used to be based out of Boston. When we played with them, they were based out of Boston, and that was a great combo.
Boston.
They're great. They're a great band if they're still together.
Okay. Is there anything else people should know about the Lobster Quadrille?
We love you very much, and we'd love very much for you to come and see us and buy all our shit and make us rich and famous. Thank you very much.
Could you
There's
believe
lots of
And
love in our
everyone-
band.
I
Lots
hope
of
everyone
love.
is free. Be free, philosophically.
Yes, thank you. Read books, be nice to each other,
Yes.
and have a good
Read
time.
books and be nice to each other. This is
And
really
and have a
fun.
drink if you'd like to.
Indeed.
Or don't. It's okay.
It really is okay.
All right.
Thank you, Soraya. Can I say a couple of things about you,
Sure.
Soraya? Soraya, you're a wonderful man. Thank you so much for all your support over the last couple of weeks. It's been really nice
Yeah.
meeting you. Thank you for all your interviewing and your radio show and all this. It's wonderful.
Yeah, the radio show was a blast.
Hey, you're welcome to come back up when it won't be so, full.
We've